Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Thursday, the 15th of December 2022. Thanks for joining me. I want to use the animal tarot cards for today's reading. Let's see what the cards want you to be aware of. And let me show you some of these cards before I actually use them. Obviously animals everywhere, and I think it's really beautifully done. So let's see what these cards have to say. Oh, and always when I have little blurbs down here like this, I don't use reversals because in the tarot, the way I see it, if a card is in reverse, if it's upside down, you get the opposite meaning. And then obviously it's a bit much to find the exact opposite of all of this. So I just use upright cards. All right, so let me shuffle these a few times. And then I'm going to choose 3 to see what the day is all about here and what energy you'll be working with. It's really funny actually, because someone in the comments, I made a comment about merch last week. A couple of people have been in touch and written in about that. And I was saying I was going to create a t-shirt that on the back says, I watch Gregory Scott every day. But then someone in the comments said you should also make one that says, what energy are you working with? Because I say that every day apparently. So let me think what you... I wasn't aware that I do say that every day, but if you like that one, let me know. If not, also let me know. Okay, so let's see. Thursday. All right, first card is the Princess of Winter. So that's the Princess of Swords. So good ideas, possibly a little solitude or seriousness that can be excessive. Then we have the 8 of Spring. That's the 8 of Wands. So that's really good news. That is something positive coming in. So that immediately says it's okay to soften a little bit. Things aren't that serious. And if you're really looking at things in a critical way and you feel somewhat obsessive about everything you have to do, this card is saying good stuff is happening. It's okay to relax. And then finally, oh, we've got Justice. Again, the 8th card in the Major Arcana. Sometimes it's the 8th card, which is usually Strength, and sometimes it's the 11th, Justice. So 8 in numerology is power, 11 is service. I personally prefer the Justice card being the 11th. I think that makes more sense, but we'll see what this one says. I suppose they believe in the strength of justice, which I don't think I'd ever say or believe. Yeah, I mean, we all know in court cases and stuff, people make mistakes. Innocent people are convicted. So maybe I'm being too literal, but no. I think that justice is to be 11, which is the master number of service. It's meant to, serve the public. Okay. So let's see. Princess of Winter, we've got logical and truthful and curious and undiplomatic. All right, so you're able to work with information very, very well. You may be a little bit blunt and speak the truth, which can be a good and a bad thing. If you tell someone what you really think and it's negative, then you can get that off your chest, but it's not likely to strengthen the relationship. But sometimes it's important to be honest and truthful. So then we've got curious, so very interested in learning and new information, and undiplomatic, again, a little bit abrupt or blunt. The seagull, this is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution, which you certainly can. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. Okay, that's easily said. But if you just rip me, if you really criticize me, I'm going to personally find it a little bit difficult not to be bothered at all. So it's interesting that it's kind of like this is the energy, the vibe that you can be logical and a bit blunt. And then here it's saying that if you're on the receiving end of that, then just don't be bothered. I always think the court cards, they are an energy that appears within you, or it's it's a person who comes into your life. Okay, so if someone kind of takes that approach with you, then I think we're all going to have to try not to be overly bothered. And if we're the ones doing it, then yeah, I suppose it's seeing that there's a reason at certain times to be blunt. So I suppose rather than just say I'm not bothered, to try and understand it and say, okay, someone was really blunt. They must be really upset at me, or they must have felt really strongly about this. Maybe I should pay attention. Next, the 8 of spring, we've got the 8 of wands and the bees. The bees are, to me, service anyway, because they are just so industrious and hardworking. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. Okay, so with the bee, I feel, because they do work so hard, if you are getting wonderful opportunities, you have the strength and the resilience and the commitment required to do a fabulous job. So there's very little reason to be stressed out. And then, which again is easily said, but then also with the Princess of Winter here, if there is a complicated situation happening in your life, you have like the wheels are turning so nicely that you'll be able to figure out really quickly. So these two cards actually say you can take criticism and deal with difficulties. You can also resolve issues by being blunt yourself. If you have great things coming in, which according to the cards you will, you'll be able to manage those opportunities. And I'm actually getting that even if you have to focus on work or get things organized for the end of the year, anything official, paperwork, taxes, legal stuff, you have the focus to deal with those things. The only other thing I'd mention about the princess, we've got court cards that go from the page to the knight, which in this deck is the prince and princesses, and then the king and queen. Pages are inexperienced, knights are extreme, they try and manage things, but sometimes fail, and the kings and queens are in charge of the element, they can make wonderful things happen. So it's the bluntness and the lack of diplomacy of the princess that's the extreme on one side. The extreme on the other side is that she's a brainiac and she's able to figure everything out. So that's a really good combination, the willingness to work really hard and to exert yourself to face things head on. And then by figuring them out, I mean, you're in the perfect solution to resolve things then. Finally, justice. Okay, so we've got the elephant. I love elephants because to me they signify strength and good luck and care and the family and all these wonderful things and independence. Fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Wow, they really have faith in the legal system. Okay. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. Okay. So have compassion for others and try to see... Okay, so if someone is being blunt to you, here you're being told not to be bothered. And here it's to have compassion. I don't know. I think that may be... Of course, we should all have compassion and try and be empathetic. I don't know. I have a bit of an issue with this because I've never successfully not been bothered when I've tried not to be bothered. My brain doesn't work like that. So... Instead, yeah, that's what I suppose. Instead of saying, ugh, I don't care anyway, say, okay, I'm going to try and see why this person was so direct with me. Maybe they were curious or maybe they've got an agenda. But I'm not going to judge that. I'm going to have compassion for their journey, their process. Yeah. And then the other thing is that fair decisions are going to be made. Oh, okay. Oh, so this is interesting. So if you're focused on work and getting everything sorted, or if you're going for a job interview, if you get a very blunt no, saying, actually, we don't think you're right for the job, thank you very much, then looking at that as that's the right decision is probably a good idea. Maybe I didn't have all the experience required for the role. Maybe I didn't ace the interview, whatever it may be. Also then, if fair decisions are being made, and justice is so positive and impartial, then kind of figuring out whether you want to take something forward and really stand up for yourself, like a complaint or something in work. And that's a lot of work. Then the cards are saying that you have the strength to actually, if if there has been a genuine wrong, and it's up to you to right that wrong, you're able to do it, and the outcome is likely to be fair. So it encourages you to do that work if you have an issue with an institution or a person or anything official, formal. Yeah. Number-wise, we have the princess, which counts as 1, a court card. 1 and 8 is 9. 9 and 8 is 17. And then 1 and 7 is 8. So we've got 8, 8, 8. 8 is about strength and power. 88 is, you really have exceptional power. 888 is, I mean, to me, that's pretty lucky, I suppose, because I've gone to slot machines and the 8s have been there, so I remember that kind of thing. And it's strength. So the numbers are really underlining the point that you have the strength to take something forward and to, again, bring balance. But at the same time, if you are being blunt and direct, be a little bit careful about that, because you may totally disrespect someone and come on a little bit, be too forceful or to be too aggressive. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I get for you here on Thursday. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.